Again, happy Thursday. One day away from Friday. Again. Oh, but I want to ask you first, before we go on, I always ask how you're doing. So you can tell me 1, 2, or 3 how you're feeling in the chat. Okay. So you can tell me 1, 2, or 3 how you're feeling in the chat. And so no, if you're feeling 1, you feel like this. Sound effects aren't going. Okay. Let's do that again. If you're feeling a number 1, you feel like this. Okay. You feel like that horn. If you're a 2, you're feeling like this. And if you're a 3, you're feeling like this. So how are you feeling right now? Are you feeling 1? Are you feeling 2? Or are you feeling 3? So go ahead and send in the chat. What are you, a 1, 2, or 3? Come on, now only one person's answered. Okay, a 2, a 3. Aw. No one's a 1? No one's all pumped? No one's Nobody? No? Okay, a lot of 2s. 2.5. Okay. That means that's lower than 2. Okay. I get it, guys. I understand. Yeah. Times are tough. All right. So let's go over number 3. So first, we have a rhombus. Some of you are looking at this going, Mister, what the heck's a rhombus? Well, you don't have to. It's a quadrilateral, but you don't have to know exactly what that means. But it's saying rhombus, JKLM, and then they tell you what J, K, L, and M, where they are, what the coordinates are. So if you plot those points and you connect the dots, you'll see the shape they're talking about. So let's do that. So J is -4, 7. So that's -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, backwards 4 on the x-axis, and then 7, up 7 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right there. And so that's J. And so now we will go to K, which is 0, 8. So K is 0, 8. So 0 means I don't go anywhere. Oh my gosh. I don't go anywhere on the x-axis. And then the 8 means I go up 8. So start here. I don't go left or right. I stay there. And then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so there is K. Now let's plot L. Let's plot L. L says -1, 4. So I go backwards 1 on the x-axis and then up 4 on the y. And there's L. And then M is -5, 3. So I go backwards 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the x-axis and then up 3 because it's +3 on the y-axis. And there is M. And if I connect the dots, I will see the quadrilateral I'm talking about. There you go. There's your rhombus. Hey, that looks like a parallelogram, mister. Yes, it is. It's also a parallelogram. Good job. What's a parallelogram, mister? Oh, we'll find out later. We're going to talk about quadrilaterals in a couple weeks. So we'll talk about that. All right. So now, how do I know? So that's this is my original image, my pre-image. Right? The original, I know geometry people, they get, why don't you just call it original, mister? Why do you have to get all complicated? It's not me. It's math. We call it the pre-image. That's the original. So how do I move this, right? How do I move this to its new spot? We were talking in 11th period about how to think about this. Translations is pretend this is an overhead view of a room, right? And this is a piece of furniture. JKLM is a piece of furniture. How would you move a piece of furniture? What's the easiest way to move it? Well, the easiest way is you just pick it up and move it, right? But if it's a little heavy, what you would do is you'd get a person in each corner to lift, and then you move it, right? So that's exactly what we do here. We don't have to move this point or this point or this point. We don't have to move every point here or every point here. All we got to do is move this point, all the vertices, all the corners. So if we can move all the corners, we can move it to its new place. So you got to think of translations as moving stuff in. Are any of you like me? I'm constantly moving in my classroom. I know sometimes I get stuck there and I get tired of it. And then there's so many times I stay after school. Well, when we were back in school, And I'd be moving stuff around, and then I'd like, oh, I don't like it this way, and then things didn't fit. There was too many chairs, and so I just put it back the same way it was. But I just like to move things. Like in here, I'm constantly moving things around because I don't like things to be the same. So so how do we move? Well, if we go back in our notes, we have something called coordinate notation. You can tell someone in words what you want. You can say all these words, or you can give them coordinate notation, right? And coordinate notation is just, you start with X, Y. This is just telling you the original points are going to move. This arrow means are going to move. And then this is how they move. They're either going to move left and right, and then up and down. So this X tells you how they're moving left or right. And this Y tells you how they're moving up and down. So let's look at number 3 and see what they're telling us. What are the directions? So here we go. My original point, XY, is moving where X is +2 and Y is -2. So that means my X, that's left and right, I'm going to go forward 2 units. And forward means, remember, forward, hold on, this way. Forward goes this way, right? Forward is this way. Backwards is negative, right? So forward is to the right. And then this tells me the Y is going to subtract 2. So that means the Y is the up and down, right? So this means I'm going to go down 2 units. And so I'm going to do that to all the corner points, just the corner points. Okay, just like we're lifting it up and we're moving those corner points. And then the rest of it has to move too. The corners don't just move. Everything else follows. So let's do that to each point. So I'm going to do that with L. Since L is right here, I'm going to do it with L. So I'm going to go 2 units to the right and then 2 units down. So I'm going to go from here, 1, 2 units to the right, or 2 units forward, and then 1, 2, 2 units down. And so there's my new L. And what do we call the moved point, the new point? L prime, that little apostrophe after the L. I'm going to do the same thing to K. Let's move K. So I'm going to go forward 2, down 2. And so there's my new K. And what do we call the new K? K prime. All right, let's do the same thing with J. J, I'm going to go forward 2, down 2. So let me erase this middle part. Okay, let's do that again. I'm going to go forward 2 and then down 2. And there's my new J. And what do we call that? J prime. And then let me move M. I didn't move M, so that's the last corner. I'm going to move M, forward 2, down 2. And there's my new M, and we call that M prime. And let's connect the dots. And there you go. Remember, when we move, when we translate like that, when we slide it over left and right, and then we slide it up and down, the shape is exactly the same. So if you look at that, the red and blue are exactly the same. All right, so there's one more step I think a lot of you forgot, and it's my fault you forgot because we didn't go over it yesterday. Somebody had to remind me at the end of class. At the bottom, they want to know the coordinates of J prime, K prime, L prime, and M prime. Okay, J, K, L, and M. So where are all these? So let's look. So let's look at J. Let's start with J. Let's go in alphabetical order, J. And so if you look at J prime, it's right here. So how do I get there? I have to go backwards, 1, 2, and then go up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So backwards 2 on the X, up 5 on the Y. So it's -2, 5. I go backwards 2 and then up 5. That's the point. All right, let's do K. Where's K prime? So K prime is right here. So that means I go forward 1, 2, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2, 6. So K prime is 2, 6. Now some of you, Mister, stop moving. You keep moving this. You're moving this too much. I can't copy it. Okay, here's my advice. Remember, I've given you advice before. Maybe put your pencil down as I'm explaining and let it soak in, right? Don't copy anything down. Just watch me and let it soak in. And then, I'm going to give you a minute or two to after I finish explaining, to copy all the stuff down. Okay, so that's why I'm moving a little too much because I'm going up and down. But I will give you a chance to copy this once we once I finish explaining. So we got 2 more points to do. So L prime. L prime is right here. So I'm going to go forward 1, up 2. Forward 1, up 2. And so that means it's 1, 2. 1, 2. And then M prime is right here. So that means I go backwards 3 and up 1. That's the coordinates. Backwards 3 on the X, up 1 on the Y. So -3, 1. And there you go. Okay, I'll leave this up for you to copy. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to go grab a water while you're copying this. Right? We got to stay hydrated, guys. Okay. Any questions about how we did number 3? First, we plotted the points of the original object, right? Rhombus JKLM. And how do we know that's the original? Because they have regular old letters, JKLM. Then we use this map or this coordinate. What's it called? Let's go back. What's it called? It's called the coordinate notation. Coordinate notation tells us how to move our coordinates. How do we move our points? And we only need to move the corners, right? Think of how you move furniture. You just need one person at each corner to lift and move. So that's what we do. We move J to its new spot by adding 2 to the X, subtracting 2 from the Y, right? Going forward 2 and down 2. And that's J prime, the new one. K becomes K prime, M becomes M prime, L becomes L prime, and there's my new position, right? The new image. And then there's the coordinates. No questions? All right, I want to go back to 1 and 2 because we didn't finish that. We were doing this at the end, and so we moved this, number 1, we moved the rectangle 5 units forward 7 units up, but we did not write the coordinates of Q, R, S, and T. So we did Q. We did that before class ended. We did Q, and Q was go backwards 1 and then up 6, so -1, 6. That's Q prime. What about R prime? R prime's right here, so R prime would be I go forward 2 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I go forward 2, up 8. So 2, 8. 2, 8 is R prime. What about S prime? S prime is way over here. So we go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Forward 7 and then up 1, 2. So 7, 2. 7, 2 is S prime. Now let's look at T prime. T prime, ooh, it's on the x-axis. So that's kind of easier. So we just go forward 1, 2, 3, and I don't move up and down. So my Y is 0. So I just go forward 3 and I don't go up and down. So my coordinates are 3, 0. All right, I'll give you a minute to copy that. Any questions? Any questions? You guys are too quiet. We're always quiet, mister. That's all I hear. Again, if you have a question but you're afraid to ask, it's okay to be afraid, okay? Again, I'm not going to tell you to not be afraid. We learned that the first 2 weeks of school. It's okay, but dance with that fear, right? Take a little chance. Ask a little question. Right? Even if it's not a question, just put in the chat to me like, hey, mister, can you zoom in? And then boom, that's like dipping your toe in the water. And then I'll answer, oh yeah. And then I zoom in a little bit and then you're like, oh, I asked him something and he did it. And I'm still alive. Okay. I guess asking him something is not so horrible. And then next time you ask, hey, mister, why is it forward 5? Right? And then you're still afraid, but you still put it out there and you hit enter, like, oh, and you hit enter and like, okay, it went. Right? And then I say, oh, it's forward 5 because on X is left and right, and plus 5 means I'm going to go forward. Plus means forward, minus means backwards. And so left and right, forward plus means go to the right. And then you'll say to yourself, oh, I asked another question a little bit harder, and he still answered me, and I'm still alive. Right? So little by little, dance. That's what that means by dancing with that fear. Right? Still have the fear, still be afraid, still have those butterflies or that fear in that knot in your stomach or whatever it is. And just dip your toe in there, try take a little chance and then a little bit bigger chance and so on. All right, let's finish up number 2 also. So number 2, we had this triangle we did yesterday and we moved it. We moved it by going backwards 3 units on the X, right? Backwards 3 and then up 8 units on the Y. And we moved everything, and then the blue one is the original, is the pre-image. The red one is the image, the new, and it's triangle C prime, D prime, E prime. And yes, the homework is 1 through 8. Yes, someone's asking, Mister, what's the homework? Homework is 1 to 8. And if you don't know where the homework is, again, it's right here in our Schoology. Click on Translations Homework. Right? And if you are opening this in Google Chrome, you will see next to View, you will see Open with Cami, and you can do your homework on Cami and turn it in with Cami. Okay, so I'm making all homeworks done. Like, remember, that's why I separated the notes and the homework this semester. So you can turn them in like that, or you can just click on it, and it'll open up. And there's the homework, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and then 5, 6. Be careful. There's 4 problems. Some people I had like 3 or 4 people do 5, but then they didn't see all the words down here for 7. Right? They thought it was connected to 5, and then 6. Don't forget, there's 7 and 8 down there. It's 2. It's like 5 and 6, but there's no picture, so you got to draw your own picture. Okay. All right. So yes, there's 8 problems in the homework. All right. So let's do the coordinates for C prime, D prime, E prime. So C prime, D prime, E prime. C prime, if we look here, is backwards 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So -1, +7. So -1, 7 is the coordinates of C prime. D prime, over here. So I go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's 4, 4. And then E prime, it's really close to the origin, so it's not, the numbers aren't going to be huge. So I go forward 1 and up 2. Forward 1 and up 1, 2. So it's 1, 2. Okay. I had a question this morning, right? Someone said, hey, mister, and this is how they sounded. Actually, they didn't talk, but this is how I imagine they sound. Hey, mister, what if I don't have a picture? Could I, and hear me out, mister, could I do this with just the numbers? And I said, what do you mean, student? And they said, so you see how this says X minus 3? Could I just get the X and then minus 3? And then the Y says plus 8. Could I just get the Y and add 8? Would that get me the same points for the new point? I said, that's a great question, student. Let's try it. So let's look at C. So you're telling me, yes. So you're telling me that if I subtract 3 from the X, so here's 2, right? The X is 2, and then I subtract 3. What's 2 minus 3? It's -1. And if I add 8 to the Y, that's what this says, add 8. If I add 8 to the Y, so -1 plus 8 is 7, will that give me the new C, or C prime? Well, let's look. C, if I subtract 3 from 2, I get -1. If I add 8 to -1, I get 7. So was that my C prime? Let's look. Oh my God, yes it is. Yes, it is. So yes, student, yes, you can do that. If you don't want to do the picture and count because you feel like a baby and you don't want to count how to get from old C to new C, right? Go backwards 3, right? Then you can just do the math here. Same thing here. So let's look at D. If we look at D, what if I subtracted 3 from here and then added 8 to here? Well, what's 7 minus 3? 4. And what's negative 4 plus 8? 4. And so is that D prime? Is D prime 4, 4? Let's look down here. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes. Now, someone said in the chat, wait, we weren't supposed to do it like that? I've been doing it like that. Yes, you can do it like that. The other way to do it is just look where C prime is and just find the coordinates, right? You can just find the coordinates by just looking at your picture. Right? So if you look at this picture, 4, 4 is D prime. So just looking at, or subtracting 3 from the X, adding 8 to the Y. So yes, either way works. If you have a picture, you can just count and look where the points are. If you don't, you can just do that. Right? Everyone good? Did everyone look at that and say, oh, wait a second. I get it now, mister. Okay, now I get it. All right. Before we move on to the next type of problem, because we got one more type of problem to do, are there any questions about how to plot the points of an original figure and then use the coordinate notation to move that figure, like furniture in a room? Any questions before we move on to the second type of problem? And then we're done for the day. No questions. Before we go to the next kind of problem, I have a question because I had a meeting yesterday with the Humanitas Club, and we're gonna have an awards ceremony and honor roll like we usually do in school, but we're gonna do it on video. So we had the little cabinet. They were gonna do it on video, and they're gonna be sending out. Can I zoom in on 2? Sure. And we're gonna send out the video to your advisory, and we're going to give out, we're going to raffle some gift cards and stuff. So it's going to be like an assembly, like if we went to the auditorium, and you're going to be either mailed or emailed your certificate to be on the honor roll, all that good stuff. But what was nice about that meeting last night? They all had their cameras on. I felt like a real person, right? I looked out, and instead of all these rectangles, I saw people. I felt human again. So we've agreed, my 13th period, we agreed that we're going to once a week turn on our cameras. Okay. I'm not going to force you, but it would be nice if we can all turn on our cameras. They did a survey, and I don't know if you guys did the survey, but they surveyed a bunch of students asking, why don't you turn on your cameras? And one of the biggest answers was, I don't want to be the only one with my camera on. Once a week, that's too much. Let's try it. Again, let's dance with their fear. Instead of being afraid of this and letting that fear take over, let's dance with that fear and let's try to lead the dance, right? So by taking a little bit of a chance. And so like I said, some people can turn on their camera and maybe not put their face on camera, maybe be like, right, be like this, like off camera. And then if I say something, they can just put a thumbs up. Or if I say, how do you feel? 1, 2, or 3, you could just do like this. Right? And just don't put your face in the camera. It can be your ceiling. And that's a step, right? That's a step. I would turn it on, but I'm eating right now. And that's okay. No, I didn't know some people were eating. Well, I understand there's a lot of stuff going on. Some of you don't like to turn on your cameras because there's too much stuff going on in your house. I get that too. But let's try this. Let's try this once a week, okay? So we won't try it this week. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll try it next week. And we'll pick a day. But yeah, I want to feel human again. I'm looking out there, and I do see a camera. I do see a Miss Preciado. Is that our new TA, Miss Torres? Oh, welcome, Miss Preciado. I didn't see you there. You have your camera on. Hey, welcome. So we're going to try to do that. We're going to try to do that next week. Try to get these cameras on so I can feel human again, because It's so, you don't understand. Look, we as teachers understand you guys are going through things and you guys are going through feelings, but you guys got to understand we're human too, and we're going through things. And one thing that's breaking our the teachers' hearts is not getting that human factor of a classroom, right? That whole thing is, I look out here and I'm like, hey guys, and I'm the one talking and I'm all excited, and you guys are like, right? So let's try to do that once a week. Let's try to do that once a week if you can. Okay. All right. So the last type of problem I'm going to show you is we're going to write our own rules. We're going to write our own coordinate notation. So we're going to look at a picture. Right? We're going to look at a picture and then we're going to say, how did this move? So we're going to give the coordinate notation. So let's look at number 7 in this example. So here is a picture. And I'm going to color them. I'm going to make one green. I'm going to make one pink. Okay. Which one of these is the original or the pre-image? Which one is the original figure? The green one or the pink one? Purple. That is kind of purple, right? Okay. I got 2 people say green and 1 person said purple. Who's right? Well, don't forget, if you pick one of those, you also have to tell me why. Okay. Why do you think it's green? Why do you think it's purple? Those of you that said green, only 3 of you answered, but those of you that said green, tell me why. Hello? Bueller? Because it doesn't have a prime on it. It doesn't have that little apostrophe. Remember I told you the regular old letters, good job. The regular old letters. Good job. Exactly. The regular old letters are the original. So this is your original. Oops. This is the original, or as we want to say it officially, it's your pre-image. And then the pink one, we know this is the new one, or the image, because we have these little primes. These little primes mean like version 2.0, right? It's the new one. So my question is, how am I moving? So all of them start like this. They all start like this. X, Y, big arrow. Okay, they all start like that. And then we need to fill in what happens to X, comma, what happens to Y. So that's all we're doing. We're writing our coordinates right here, how it changes. So how is it changing? So let's pick one corner. Let's just pick one corner. Let's pick D. So how is D? How am I moving from here to here? And I can only move left and right. Remember, that's your X, or up and down. That's your Y. So pretend you're walking. Pretend this is here and you're moving to here. How do you walk there? Well, let's take the streets. How many blocks do you have to go? I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And you keep going till you're right under the new D, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bam, I'm under D prime. So I go forward 7. And then I go 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So I go forward 7 and 4 units up. So what does that mean? Forward 7 means I'm adding 7 to my X. I'm adding 7 because X goes this way. And then I'm going up 4. That means I'm adding 4 to my Y. And that's it. Okay, so let's test this out. Does this actually work? Well, let's try another point. So we're thinking forward 7, up 4. So let's try it. Let's try it on E. Let's go from old E to new E. Let's go forward 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ding, 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 ding. Right? It worked. Let's try it on F. Old F to new F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then up 1, 2, 3, 4. Ding, 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 ding. Yep, it worked. So this is my coordinate notation. My original point moves like this. X adds 7 and Y adds 4. Forward 7, up 4. All right, let me give you a second to copy that down. Any questions? Any questions? Thank you guys for participating. Those of you in the chat, thank you. Right, the little apostrophe, we say it's prime. That's how we know that's the new image. No apostrophe means it's the old or original image. Are any of you nerds like that when you want to rearrange your room? Do you map it out? Do you do an overhead view of, okay, my bed's here, my dresser's here, this is my this, and okay, if I move this here, and then kind of do or do you just start moving things? I guess it's just me. I guess I'm the nerd. Nerd! Yes, I know. All right, are there any questions on this one? All right, before we go, what happens here? What happens here? So this is what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to answer this. Well, actually, no, you have homework due tonight, right? Let's answer this now. We have a couple minutes because you do have the homework tonight. So X, Y, the original point, is going to move what happens to X and what happens to Y. So let's see. Let's look at M. It's pretty close. It doesn't look like a lot's happening. So let's go to, remember, you got to go from the old to the new. Don't go from this to this. This one's the old one. This one's the new one. Yes. Yes, it is. Somebody asked, is this like number 5 and 6 in the homework? Yes. Also 7 and 8. Also 7 and 8, but it's words and not a picture. Okay, so 7 and 8, got to do a little thinking. Right? You got to draw a little picture, or you just got to see how the X changes and do it like that. So let's see, how are we going from the old M to the new M prime? So we're going to have to go backwards, right? How many units? 1, 2, 3, 4 backwards and 1, 2 up. 4 backwards and 2 up. Let's see if let's try that with O. 1, 2, 3, 4 backwards and 1, 2 up. Yep, that's what worked. So let's go here. 4 backwards means I'm going to subtract 4 on the X because I'm going backwards. And then 2 up means I'm going to add 2 to the Y. All right, that's it, guys. Please turn in your homework tonight. If you need any help, you can always send me a message on Schoology. I constantly look at it. It's actually it's on my new Apple Watch. I can actually, every time I get a message, I can look here and I can see your message. I'm still playing around with it, so maybe I can even answer you on here. But yes, so if you have a question, please send it to me. I will help you whenever I can. All right, so all of you take care and have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.